All right, the first book or books I'm going to be talking about are Opal and Origin by Jennifer L. Armentrout. They are book 3 and 4 in the Lux series. And for those of you who don't know, it's like a YA romantasy where Katie, the main character, moves to a new town and her neighbors next door are aliens and she ends up in a relationship with one of the aliens. Anyway, I didn't rate these because I just listened to them on audiobook. I find with a lot of like YA series, especially like the longer they go on, they tend to like not know what they're doing, and it just honestly, these last two just felt like BS. I'm not gonna lie. By the end of the fourth book, and spoiler alert, even though who cares, not only are these kids like running away from the government and are like literally being hunted down, but two of them get married, and then the other two are pregnant. And it's like, in what world is it smart, whether you're a super powerful alien or not, to try to have a baby? Oh my gosh, it's just so dumb. And I'm like, why as an author would you like choose to do this? But it's whatever. The next book I'm going to be talking about is The Adventures of Amina El Sarafi. Oh my gosh, I gave this book a 4.5. I loved this book. It's about a woman who is a retired, very notorious pirate. A woman comes asking her if she can go retrieve her granddaughter because she like ran away with this crazy man. Anyway, it's just the story of Amina going back to retrieve her crew, and she's like in her 40s I think or something, and she has a daughter and all this stuff, and it was so fun. It was so entertaining. I love pirate books. I love a good adventure, and it sucked because when I finished it, if you use Libby, you know it's like a little janky, no lie. I looked at the book, I was like, please tell me there's another one out, like please. And it is a trilogy, but the second one is not out yet, unfortunately. But on Libby, it was like, oh, the next in the series. I was like, oh my gosh. And there were like 4 books, and it was just by the same author but a different series, and I started listening to it and I was like, what the heck? This book, it was super good. If anybody knows books that are similar to this, have the similar vibe, adventure vibe, pirate vibe, please let me know. I'm highly anticipating the next book in the trilogy. The next book I'm going to be talking about is Ruby Red by Kristen Gear. This beautiful cover. I remember when I first bought this years ago, the main reason why was because of how cool the covers are. But this is a YA science fiction, I guess, about time travel and like these two time traveling families where they literally carry a gene to be able to time travel. And the main character, Gwyneth, her whole life, her cousin has been training to be the time traveler when she's actually the one with the gene. But I ended up giving this book only a 2.75, only because it's really frustrating in the beginning. Gwyneth starts traveling in time, but she's not telling anybody, and it literally takes her friend like crying, like, call somebody right now, like you need to freaking make sure you're safe, because like if she time travels to like the wrong place, she could freaking die. I have the other 2 books, and this was a reread, but I don't remember if I've read the other ones. So I'm gonna be just finishing this trilogy soon, and I'm looking forward to the next ones. I think as it goes on it's gonna get better, but my fingers are crossed. The next book I read it's a nonfiction, How to Hide an Empire by Daniel Immerwahr, I don't know. I just picked up this book because it sounded super interesting, and with everything going on in our current world as it is today at the time of me filming this video, reading this book really brought me a lot of calm, and like it really helped me understand like how and why all these things are happening. And I gave this book 5 stars. If you are also feeling really like frustrated and conflicted and confused as to why all these atrocities are being committed against innocent people, I would highly recommend this book. It made everything start to make sense. unfortunately, as sad as it is. The next book I'm going to be talking about is A Little Life. If you know what this book's about, you know it's starring Jude St. Francis. It's very sad, it's very heavy, but also incredibly well written. I gave this book 4 stars, and I made an entire video about it if you want to watch. But yes, I really like the book, but I hate the cover. The next books I'm going to be talking about are A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. I made videos about them. They're hate reads. I used to love these books, but after rereading them as a 24-year-old, and the last time I read them I was like a teenager, these books suck. I gave them both 1 stars, and yeah, if you want to watch me rant about them, check out the 2 videos I made about them. But yeah, no. The next book I'm going to be talking about is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. I gave this book 4.25 stars. The summary is there is the main character whose name I'm not remembering. Oh my goodness. But she's like a amateur scholar, and she makes histories about like families and stuff, or I think she's only published 1. I don't fully remember. But she is sent a letter by an incredibly famous author, Vida Winters, and she asks her to come to her house so she can tell her life story, because everyone's always so curious about it. And the biggest mystery surrounding Vida Winter is the fact that they're I believe it's either her first published book or her last published book, I don't remember, but it was originally called The 13 Tales and when it was published, but there were only 12, so everyone wants to know what the 13th tale is. And the book ended up getting the title changed from The 13th Tale, but still, because of that, people are like, I want to know what it is, so this story is about the 13th tale. But yeah, it was pretty good. She references a lot of UK authors and stuff, and yeah, it was reminding me of Charles Dickens, that kind of style of story. The one thing that kept it from being a better story or a higher rating for me, I felt like it kind of lost its way a bit, or not lost its way, but it kind of meandered unnecessarily. I just wish the story kept going. Also, the main character, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's something that she is really caught up on and kind of can't move past, and I understand where she's coming from, but I don't understand why the author would decide that's the thing she's super caught up on. And I mean, I don't want to seem cold, but yeah, I just, a lot of time was put towards that, and I was okay, I didn't really feel like it was necessary, but that's just my personal opinion. And yeah, it's still got a high rating, and it's a good book. The next books I'm going to be talking about is Cruel Beauty and Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. In reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, I wanted to read another better Beauty and the Beast retelling, and this one definitely is. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and this is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. And this one I love the mythology. Both of these have a lot of mythology in it, and I love mythology. I like the dynamic between the main character and the love interest in this, but both of these books kind of for a good chunk of both of them, nothing happens, and then everything starts to happen, and if anything is kind of underwhelming. But yeah, I gave this book 3 stars, and then with Crimson Bound, this book started off so strong, and it had me so interested and so intrigued, but then as it goes on, nothing happens. I would try to give a more detailed summary, but I wouldn't even know what to say. It's a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. For maybe 100 pages, 150 pages, nothing happens, nothing's going on, and then it's boom, everything starts happening, and it's why is it like that? But yeah, I gave this one 3 stars. I gave this one 2.75, unfortunately, because it had such a strong start. The start had me. I was oh, this is about to be good, and then it wasn't. So yeah. The next book I'm talking about is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I did only give this one 2.75. It's just what I'm realizing. I'm reading a lot of YA, and it's just because a lot of my physical TBR are books that I bought from years past, and I'm only just now reading them. And yeah, it's just really YA. I'm reading City of Glass right now, and I'm gonna read Clockwork Angel. And if it's not picking up, I'm gonna take a break and just come back to it whenever I feel like it. But as of right now, I'm not super invested. It's not anything I haven't read before, a vibe I haven't read before. So I'm just waiting for it to get more interesting. And I have to say, yeah, with City of Glass, it is like picking up. I'm becoming more interested in the world and everything. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I really want to read the Mortal Instruments because of how not only popular they are, but people really talk about the quality of Cassandra Clare's most recent books. And for me, I just I don't know if it's recommended if you should read the Mortal Instruments before you read those. I'm just doing it because I want to. It's just the kind of reader I am. So yeah, I'm pushing my way through because I really do want to get to those books, and they're big. I love big books. So yeah, we'll see how fast I end up getting there. The next book I'm talking about is Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I'm not going to lie. The only reason I picked this book up originally was because of Kayla from Books and Lala. She read it and she made it like, yeah, when she was talking about the summary of it, it's like, oh, these fingersmiths, these like underground like thieves or like low-key scammers. I can't think of the right word, but the main character Sue gets pulled into this plot where she is going to help this man marry this young girl so he can get, or this other girl so he can get her like dowry, her inheritance. And then they were going to put her in a mental hospital, and he was going to give her some of the money. And then it's just how the story ends up unfolding. And I did only give this book 3 stars because it was good like as I was getting into it, but it wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. But then it starts to drag. In my opinion, it just starts to drag. There are a lot of these like conversations and things and all this stuff, and there's a portion of it that's like was hard for me to read personally. It wasn't what I thought. I wanted a little bit more of like a crime ring, if you know what I mean, like a betting ring, or just something more like sneaky and like more of a like intricate plot. But this, yeah, I would say this book is more about like deception, and it has like some twists and turns. But it ultimately like kind of isn't my style of book. I did like the romance though. I did like it. That part was entertaining for me for sure. But yeah, it just kind of fell flat for me. The next book I'm going to be talking about, and it's another nonfiction, is The Field of Blood, Violence in Congress and the Road to the Civil War. Like the title says, it's just talking about how literally like in Congress in the few years before the Civil War, congressmen were literally beating each other up. They would do duels. Some men died. Some were like brutally beaten. There's one that's really infamous where a congressman just walks up to another one and is like, just says something like he didn't like what he was saying and starts beating him with a cane. And it is kind of wild to think about like how they used to do that. But I'm like, one, it's crazy how everyone's just like super petty and catty now. And they need to start fighting again. I would 100% support that if they started doing duels and started punching each other and just everybody started fighting in Congress. I think that would get a lot more resolved, because a lot of these people in Congress love to run their mouth, and would help a lot of them if they got popped in it. But I'm not in Congress. That's none of my business. And yeah, I don't think that is ever going to be happening. But if that started to happen, I would support it. Absolutely. I ended up giving this book 3 stars, ultimately just because I DNF'd this book before, because it's frustrating. It's frustrating to think about how this is where our government has come from, and it's really not all that different, other than a lack of physical violence, but there's still so much violence perpetrated by the people in our government, and it is incredibly frustrating. And this was just another book similar to How to Hide an Empire that just helped me get more like grounded and more footing in understanding the current ways of our world. The last books I'm going to be talking about in this wrap up are Beautiful and Walking Disaster by Jamie Maguire. These are two somewhat notorious college romances, and they're pretty much the same book. This is just in Abby's perspective and this is in Travis's perspective. 100%. I gave this one 2 stars and I gave this one 1 star. It's the same book, just in different perspectives, but it's so much worse in Travis's perspective. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm gonna start making more videos about like romances, because romance is my second most read genre. So yeah, I'm gonna be making a video detailing all the things and problems that happen in these books, and just my questions of what it means for when women writers write relationship dynamics like these. It's the classic virgin and player trope. Abby is running away from her past and she runs right into Travis Maddox, who is a like underground fighter, and he's set on having and keeping her attention in the most toxic and problematic ways possible. And then moving on to the manga I read this month. I didn't read as much. I want to read a lot more in October, but yeah, in September I didn't read that much. But the first one I read or I finished was One Punch Man Volume 5. I can't lie, Moomin Rider is on the cover of this, and I know a lot of people like him. He gets on my nerves. I know he like embodies like the way a hero should be, even though he's not the strongest and whatever, he'll still always fight for people, and obviously I admire that. But it's also like, stay in your lane, bro. If you know you're not gonna win, you're just getting in the way ultimately. Like, there really is, he's very, very annoying to me, because he's always getting beat up. Like, it's like he's a punchline. It's like, oh, here's Moomin Rider, like he's about the next panel is about to be him on the ground knocked out because he got beat up. But yeah, he's very annoying to me. And I realized in my last wrap up I didn't give summaries on him. I guess I assume like if you know, you know, but if you don't and you're interested, One Punch Man is a story following the main character Saitama, who is a hero for fun, and he is One Punch Man. He beats anyone and everyone literally with one punch, and because he broke his like power threshold in the most stupid way possible. Anyway, he's just very bored and he's looking for someone who he can finally have fun and fight against, but he has yet to find that person. But yeah, it's very funny and entertaining read. Yeah, if you like Marvel and stuff, and you want to get into manga and anime, I highly recommend One Punch Man. The last 2 manga I'm going to be talking about is Volume 8 and Volume 9 of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. And like I said, I didn't give a summary last time, so I can just say that in Japanese culture, there is a like ghost story, a legend of Hanako. Even though I think it's Hanako-chan, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. But it's just this ghost where if you go into the girls' bathroom and ask for Hanako, she will grant you a wish. But for whatever reason in this world, Hanako is a boy. That's Hanako. But because it's so stupid. Yashiro, the other main character, she goes to Hanako to ask him if he can help her get a boyfriend. And then there's another main character, Kokun. He's not on the cover of either of these, but he is the son of an exorcist, and he tries to exorcise Hanako, but he's not strong enough to do it. So it's just the 3 of them helping with all the different ghosts and the mysteries going on in their school, and the story obviously develops more as it goes along. Yeah, where I am now, it's getting kind of heavy, but it's still really good. The art style is a little creepy at times, but it also, I really like it. It's really unique, especially for like the spooky season. I would recommend Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. If you just want something like lighthearted and like fun and cute, I would totally recommend the anime as well. I love the anime. Those are all the books I read this month. I'm doing like a spooktober, you know. I'm reading more scary books. I'm gonna make a rec video, a like spooky recommendation video. If you want to see more of me and hear how good of a singer I am, you can check out my music channel and original music, all under the name of Shy Fighter. Like if you want to like, subscribe if you want to subscribe. I don't know, do whatever you would like to do, and I will see you when I see you. Farewell.